Hey Facebook friends, it's Melody Reynolds. I want to talk today about roadblocks, okay? I had my phone switched around, so I'm looking at the wrong. I need to look over here. Hi, there you are. So I'm Melody Reynolds. I am a life simplifier, a Jesus lover, and I'm crazy about health stuff and natural health stuff and essential oils. So you're going to find faith stuff here, Bible study stuff here, and then any lessons that I've learned that I feel could be helpful to anybody that will take the time to listen. Some of which I have learned the really hard way. Some of which I learned not so hard. So the hard ones are the ones you remember the most. Hey Jess and Brandy, good to see you guys. I have my camera flipped around, so I'm out of whack, but it's okay. Hey Donna. So we're going to talk for a minute about roadblocks today, because we all have had some roadblocks pop up in our path. Can I get an amen to that? So I just figured that would be something good today, to discuss, because I've had a few here lately. And I want to talk about how I used to think about them, and then what I think about them now, and how the best way you can handle them is. So if you would do me a favor before we start, tag friends if you want to share that way, or share the broadcast. It would be a great blessing to me. I feel like this is a lesson that it's kind of applies across the board to everybody. And so I feel like it's something that, I don't know, I always say this, I see so much crap shared on Facebook that I try to share good stuff. And so I feel like my stuff is good stuff, like light, happy, uplifting. At least that's what I hope and pray and try to be. But I'm also pretty honest, so I throw it all in there. And it just helps me to talk to more people when you do share. So I greatly appreciate that. I got dry mouth today. Sorry. Squirrel. Okay. So I want to show you a book. If you don't know, I love personal development. And what is that? People say, oh, great, what is that? Well, I like to grow myself in every area. Now, we all know, if you look at my page, that I love all things faith. And I like to read a lot. I read the Bible pretty much every day. I like to read books about the Bible, or about Jesus, or about Peter, or about, But I also read other books to grow me in different areas that I feel like I need to become better in. Like if I need to be a better leader for my Young Living team, or to be a better parent, or to be a better homeschooler, or, to be a better spouse, to learn to be better at whatever. I'm a sponge. I'm just one of those people that I don't ever want to just be stagnant. I always want to grow. I don't know. I've always have goals. And so for me, they're really important. It makes me feel productive, right? And it makes me feel like I'm moving in the direction I should be. And it's the direction that the Lord is directing me in. But I don't want to be a person that says, well, God's called me to do something, but I'm not really doing the action to get there. Because, it's nice to know what your calling is, but if you're not doing things to get you there, you're stagnant. So I don't ever want to be stagnant. All that to say, yeah, it does. It keeps things fun. And I like a challenge. I'm like one of those challenge-driven people. It makes me happy to have something to push myself. I don't know. Not everybody's like that, but that's me. So all of that to say, I read a lot of books, okay? A whole bunch. Hey, Brandy. And so I like to share any of the good ones. Sometimes I read some that I'm like, ugh. But sometimes I read them and they're really, really good. And the funny thing is, you guys, all these self-help books that I read, because I've read the Bible now and I know the Bible pretty well, it's all biblical principles. They're in all these self-help books. They're just worded differently sometimes, but it's the same basic principles. If you want a good life, it's the same basic principles. So a book I want to share with you, and I did not turn this around, drat, but whatever. It's called The Magic of Thinking Big, okay? And there's a whole bunch more to the title down here. But this is basically about, thinking, dreaming on a bigger scale, you know, how to pull other people into your dream with you, to catch a vision with you, vision casting. Have you read it, Brandy? It's really, really good. It's very practical. I like books that tell me things that I can apply, right? Like right away, that I can start doing and I'll see something happening. This was one of those books where I was like, I dream pretty big, we'll see. And as I read it, I was like, wow, they brought up some things that I hadn't thought of before. So it's The Magic of Thinking Big. Who's the author? David Schwartz is the author. So this came recommended from a lot of different people, and so I just finally read it, and I really liked it. I've got it all marked up. Y'all, I love to highlight. So I wanted to share just a little lesson with you today from this book that I thought I really liked the way that it, oh yeah, you have, yeah, good. I want to share with you a lesson, because a lot of these books I'll learn like a new way of thinking about something. So book list keeps growing. I know mine is always growing too. So let's talk about roadblocks. Sorry, I'm squirreling out a little bit today. I have a lot on my mind, and today's just one of those overwhelming days, but I decided that I was going to come on here and talk to my Facebook friends last night, and so I don't let things like roadblocks, see how I worked that in, stop me. So that's what I want to talk to you about today. In this book, they talk about, you know, being intentional with your time, being purposeful in what you do, and how detours come, or roadblocks come up, or resistance happens. And I say this over and over again. I hope I get in your head and you can hear me. I hope you hear my voice when you hear this, that if you're going in the right direction, you're going to have resistance. If you're going the wrong way, that's the easy way. You're not going to see resistance. So a lot of people will say, you know, I got a lot of goals, but like life is always getting in the way. Things are coming up. Yeah. Yes. You know why? Because when you make it up in your mind that you're going to make a change, and it's going to affect a lot of, like, it's going to affect you, probably going to affect your family, maybe other people. Y'all, the enemy don't like that. He doesn't want you to grow and change and be an influence and get better. He wants you to be stagnant, depressed, sad, to feel like you can never change, that you can never accomplish anything, and never ever become who you were created to be. Point blank, period. So you think he's just going to sit around and let you like change and there's not going to be any resistance? So what you have to do is change your attitude. I used to get very overwhelmed, and then I would stop. I would start to make a change, and I'd work on myself, and I'd see improvement, and then when I saw that resistance come, it would scare me. You know, you get attack after attack after attack. Sometimes you just quit because you're like, I don't think I can handle another attack. However, when I decided to start fighting through that kind of stuff, big things, that's where my breakthroughs were. That's where things I had prayed for a long time, they were on the other side of those times of resistance. So I had to change my attitude that, okay, this is confirmation that I'm doing something that's going to matter. That I'm doing something that's going to be good, right? So I really like, they gave an example in here, and he says, prepare to take detours in stride. So already know, first of all, prepare yourself that this kind of junk's going to come at you. Just know that. And that way, you know, you're not as shocked and surprised, and you're more, oh, that's confirmation. Wow, that's confirmation. Because when crazy stuff that shouldn't be happening starts happening, that's confirmation. So that should build your confidence, and like, it makes me mad and I want to fight it now. But I really like the part where he says, listen to this. If you're driving down a road and you come to a road closed situation, you wouldn't just camp there, nor would you go back home. The road closed simply means you can't go where you want to go on this road. You'd simply find another road to take you where you want to go. And I thought that was a huge lesson. If you're driving a car and you come to a place where the road is blocked and you got those orange things all up everywhere, you don't just sit there in your car until they open the road, do you? You might be sitting there for like maybe forever if they permanently close the road. You don't go, well, I'm just going to turn around and go home. No, you probably get on your phone or you look at your GPS or you call somebody. Well, you figure out an alternate route. Because most of the time, there's other ways, all the time, there's other ways to get there. Yeah, it might take you a minute to course correct. You might have to go to a place that has the information you need to figure out how to do it, but you can still do it. It might take you longer. It's not in your plans. You might be a tad bit late. You might be a little flustered. Because if you're like me, I like to plan things. I like to know where I'm going. When I'm going to get there. How long I'm going to be there. When I'm coming back. But life is not like that. We have roadblocks. And so what you have to do is keep moving. What you have to do is not let it stop you and not let it make you feel defeated, but you just find an alternate route. You figure out a different way. And then this is the last part I want to share with you. It says, observe what military leaders do. When they develop a master plan to take an objective, they also map out alternative plans. If something unforeseen happens to rule out plan A, then they switch to plan B. So you could go one step further and have a backup plan. I remember, I'm going to show my age. Whenever my husband and I would go on vacation, we didn't have a GPS. Our phones were flip phones. Like you legit opened them up and all they were numbers. There was no, Siri to tell me where to go. We would have an atlas and we would highlight the roads we were going to take to get there. But then we had other ways to get there printed out. Good old, I think it was called MapQuest. So we had alternate routes because we didn't have computers in our cars at that time. But we had alternate routes. So we knew if we got stuck, we had tools to help us figure out where to go. Because I'm not going to turn around and not go on vacation. What? So flip phone. I mean, literally, it flipped. I thought it was awesome when we got the phones with the walkie-talkies. The instant access. That makes me feel old. Okay, moving on. So I just wanted to come on it, and somebody today I know needs to hear this, or whenever I share this again. You cannot let unexpected things, attacks, when your plans don't work out, don't allow that to stop you. Don't get so stuck on, but I wanted it to be like this. I wanted it to look like this. I wanted it to go like this. And if it's not going to go like that, then I can't do it. You're going to cheat yourself out of a lot of amazing things and a lot of blessings that way. You're going to miss out on a lot of your life that you're supposed to have because you got a bad attitude about it. So, yes, it can be frustrating. Be frustrated. Yes, it can be exhausted. Take a minute. But get yourself back up. Start looking at your map and figure out what you're going to do. And refuse. You have to get to the point where you want something so bad that you just refuse to let the enemy, people with big mouths and attitudes and opinions, or any kind of failure you may think you have, none of that matters. When you want something bad enough, you will do what you got to do to get there. And so remember that. It's not a bad thing, and it grows you anyway. It teaches you to think a different way. And I always trust that God's going to take me on the road and the path I'm supposed to go on. That's not always the one I plan. Melody makes these big plans in her head, and a lot of times, man plans, God laughs. he'll say, oh, no, child. You got to learn some things first, boo. And so I have learned course correct. You know, be fluent, be willing to learn, and then grow and just keep moving. So that is my lesson. I highly recommend this book. Again, it's called The Magic of Thinking Big. I just thought that was a really good example. It really spoke to me. I was like, okay, got to share it with my Facebook friends. So I hope this blessed you. I hope you have an amazing week. And yeah, ain't no sense in fighting the growth either, right? You don't want to stay an acorn when you can be an oak tree. I don't know about y'all, but I'm being an oak tree. You see, I got big branches and stuff. Anyway, love you guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.